Welcome back to the Shuffle Squad. Zach Lesage here. We're going to be covering over the metagame for Black Bolt and White Flare. So we just had the late night 246, and there was over 560 players who played in the event. So pretty big online tournament, and this is going to be the last late night before Worlds. Probably last late night in a while. I posted a little bit more about that on Twitter. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and turn those off so we can kind of see some of the lists. Now, if we kind of start by looking over at the metagame, we can see that Dragapult Dusknoir has exploded into popularity over the past couple weeks. Now, this is something that I've been kind of alluding towards and sharing on our top 10 best decks. Now, we also see that Goldango, incredibly popular. So we kind of see the decks that are above the 5% kind of range, or even above the 4% range. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These 10 decks are pretty much what makes up of our top 10 best decks. You can see decks like Flareon, Crustle, Armarouge, Charizard, Dusknoir, Ents, Zoroark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 make up the other 5 popular decks in format. We have a few other decks that might exist to some capacity, but those are really the real ones that are seeing success in our metagame. I really couldn't recommend too much playing anything past the Charizard Dusknoir deck when it comes to the metagame. And if we look at the win percentages, we can see that some decks are just built a little bit different. Crustle having a strong win percentage due to its polarizing win-loss rate. And if you hit the right matchups and play well, you might just be able to have anything else there. Otherwise, most decks are in this kind of 50-50 win rate. Now, if you look towards the standings, we can kind of break through. We had 13 players make top cut. We had the infamous Crustle go 9-0 dropped. And I think like when we look at it, we see most of the lists looking incredibly similar, giving Pokevital A an opportunity to shine. And we see Practice Studio allowing you to hit 120 to 130, knocking out things such as Baby Raging Bolts. So lots of lists like Crustle are looking like this. And we can see it's a fantastic choice of a deck right now. Continuing on, we see a Flareon deck. So, I mean, we almost have the whole color. Flareon, a lot of lists are cutting this Sylveon, but you have this kind of approach towards Goldango decks, and you have approaches towards Grimmsnarl and Charizard, and of course you have the Sylveon Lilies Clefairy combo to have answers against Dragapult EX. I think most lists are looking incredibly similar. Some are adding an air balloon, and it's really this question, does EVBox really fit into our metagame? It's at the edge of almost not there, but it's doing pretty well. We are going to see the first of probably a few Dragapult Dusknoir lists. This seems to be the standard list for every single player. This one's been kind of running up, doing well at tournaments. This exact 60 is what I would recommend for the deck at this time. It just seems incredibly well positioned. As we look through, we see a Festival Lead deck. Surprisingly, Festival Lead's back on top, even running a Rillaboom. I don't think I own this Rillaboom from Twilight Masquerade, but being able to use your Boom Boom Grove, searching for what you need, like a mini Pidgeot, and then using Festival Lead. Festival Lead's kind of making a bit of a resurgence with Brave Bangle. So if you're looking for a cool way to play this deck, or you're a player who's looking to kind of have a fun deck to bring to League, a League Cup, League Challenge, this would be a really cool version of that deck. Great job to dial in. We have a straight Dragapult, as far as I can tell, kind of a Tord build from the World Champion, or from the National North American International Championships, excuse me. Except we've added in Hilda into this build. So very similar to what we've seen in other builds of this deck. Hilda is replacing Jacques and Brock in some capacity, being able to search out any of your energies and an evolution Pokemon. This deck has more space than Dusknoir, but has less versatility. It really depends. Do we value consistency or do we value the matchup spread? It's really where a lot of decisions come in there, but I mean, you could probably have both built with the difference of having a Maractus, some extra supporter cards, and more. You can get most of those from prize pack cards. And we're going to see our first Dango of the night. Dango playing the new Genesect with Metallic Signal, searching out those Goldangos, and that's really what's made this deck change. We see the Rigid Band in the list. Most lists are playing Lavencia as well as their stadium of choice. We see Energy Retrieval as an option. Like, there's a lot of different things that you could be doing when it comes to playing this deck, and I think it's looking pretty good across the board. So when we see it, this is literally Standard Dango in a nutshell. I know I made top 8 at 2 League Cups this past weekend with a very similar Goldango list. Check it out on my Twitter. We're going to see another Crustle list. We can see that this one is very similar. Instead of running Team Rocket's Hideout, they're running, I believe, another card here. Don't really know which difference it is, but you can see it's the 3/3 Crustle, the 3 Monkey Dory, the Cornerstone, the Pokevital A. So definitely a solidified archetype there. We're going to see another Dragapult Dusknoir. You can see this one is literally off by 1 card from the other list, where they're swapping a Professor Turo for a Hilda. I think that's an acceptable choice for sure, giving yourself some opportunities there to adjust your deck as you need for the metagame. We're going to see a Gardevoir deck, very popular deck here. I think most lists are looking incredibly similar. Some lists are running 3 Bravery Charms, some lists are running 2. This case, they're running an energy switch like Isaiah Bradner did at the North American International Championships. A lot of lists are using that extra space for a Buddy Poffin to be able to search out those routes very early in the game off of Arven or Secret Box. So Gardevoir, again, poised to be one of the strongest decks heading into the World Championship. I mean, this deck has arguably been one of the most successful decks of all time. So nice to see what a standard Gardevoir list would look like. We're going to see another Dragapult Dusknoir list. This one running double Jamming Tower, and it's cut a boss's order to make that spot. I don't know if I necessarily like that change, but the second Jamming Tower can certainly be cool. Strong deck. I mean, it's a 59 card deck, right? And I think like there's a 60 card deck and people are like, oh, maybe we can cut a card to make a space for it. And I know I've done some of that when it's come to preparing for League Cups and League Challenges myself. We're going to see another Dango deck making it quite far into the tournament. We see the Genesect in here being able, with a Pokemon tool, likely an air balloon slapped onto it, to stop your opponent's A-Specs. That could stop the Energy Search Pro and Mirror. This one's going for Moonlit Hill with all those different energies. We can use a lot of different stadiums when it comes to playing this deck. And we see a list that's not running another Lightning or another Dark or another Psychic. It's going with the 4 basic metal energies and also a Call for Family Gimmighoul. Pretty cool options across the board. And that brings us to our finalists. We're going to see Raging Bolt with Noctowl kind of seeing success here. We see the Koraidon. That's an option with Unrelenting Onslaught. And we see that it's a pretty standard list across the board in terms of what people are playing. There is a Squawkabilly here. Squawk doing a pretty cool job of just chilling there with Squawk and Seize to get some cards out in the discard pile. I think that a lot of these lists are looking incredibly similar, and there's 3 areas here. I don't know what they exactly cut from this list to kind of get to this point, but some interesting cuts. I guess they cut a Crispin. Can't really 100% tell. And then we have Joltik Box all the way up at the top. Unknown Gamer T, I believe, winning their 2nd late night series this season, playing a Lily Sclefairy list version of the list. Maybe this is the better way to be playing the deck. When we look at it, we see that they've cut the Psychic energies to just go up an energy of Lightning and gain extra space into the deck. And using Genesect, Iron Bundle, like there's a lot of cool things that are going on with this list here. So we see a lot of the metagame. If we want to look at towards some other decks that maybe just didn't make it, we see Tuna playing a copy of the Dragapult Dusknoir deck, pretty popular version of the deck. You can always check the description. I'll put the link here for the late night to see exactly what's going on with there. We see Grimmsnarl just cutting it a little bit too, like a little not there. Interesting card here with the Yveltal. I never thought about putting this. Put 2 damage counters to your opponent's Pokemon that has a damage counter on it. That could be an interesting tech. Maybe I'll put that one in my list for the World Championships, or at least as a potential tech. I'm practicing and preparing for that as well. And is there any other decks that we see that, just trying to see what else would be different. We see something like a Ho-Oh Armarouge deck here. That's probably the last deck that we'll look over. We see the Prisms energies, the Reshiram. So a little bit of everything going on in this deck. So I think that this deck's kind of one of those real opportunity decks. You can look it over. It seems pretty awesome, but might be a little short. The Prism energy might add a lot to this deck though. So overall, some pretty cool results across the board. And I always kind of keep track to see what's going on with these decks. You can always check out all the different lists available. Like, let's say if you want to check out an Ethan's Typhlosion deck, you can see the top one. My friend Fittest Nerd here making it pretty far with the deck. You can see this is what a standard version of the deck is looking like for the Typhlosion Pidgeot deck. I don't know if there was there any other decks that we didn't get a chance to cover here? I think we covered pretty much everything. We didn't cover a Charizard Pidgeot. I guess we can go here. You can see that a lot of decks like 5-3 seemed like pretty much the standard. So it might end up being not the best choice right now, but it certainly could be a sleeper pick when it comes to the World Championships. The metagame could still adjust, and it's always adjusting. They're adding in the Hilda to this version of the deck. And yeah, there's just a handful of different decks here. So I think that pretty much covers everything that we expected to see in the top 15 or so decks. We can see there was also Charizard Dusknoir. There's Charizard Dusknoir that we see with some versions of the Dunsparce, and we also see that there's the Enzoric deck as well. I don't know if the Enzoric deck made it too far in the tournament. You can see someone went 6-5 with the deck. Pretty standard list across the board. I think a lot of decks are pretty well decided and understood. Black Bolt, White Flare didn't add too much to the metagame, and the decks that it did add to, like Goldango, really got figured out quickly. So that pretty much gives us a covering on the top decks or so. Be sure to stay tuned for more meta coverage when it comes to the World Championships, when it comes to regionals, League Cups, everything else like that, right here on this channel. Give this video a like, share, subscribe, and if you're looking to improve your game, as of last week, I was #1 ranked in North America, so hit me up for some coaching. That's available in the description. I'll catch up with all y'all later. Peace out. Have a great one. Want to support the Shuffle Squad? Be sure to check out all of our sponsors in the description to pick up Pokemon TCG singles, sealed, and PTCG live codes.
「旅の始まりは常に道への一歩である」「それは闇へと続く」「初めの一歩を踏み出すには勇気がいる」「そして旅の終わりには旅を始めた時の自分とは別人になっているかもしれない」「旅に出よう。物語の次の章がお主を待っている」将軍の道を歩め侍の箱とともにアルティメットガードが送る冒険の第一章刀将軍の道近日発売
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed the content that we have today, and maybe you'll click on one of these other videos, enjoy those videos too. If you haven't already, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what video you want to watch next. Until next time, we'll catch up with all y'all later. Have yourself a great day.